Hey guys, it's Kyle again and welcome back to Warzone. Today we are doing the Modern Warfare snipers versus the Cold War snipers. In today's video you're going to see me do 5 matchups. I'm going to be comparing 5 of Modern Warfare's best sniper rifles to the 5 Cold War sniper rifles. So for instance the car versus the Swiss, I'm going to decide if I think the car is better, I'll give a point to Modern Warfare, and if I think the Swiss is better, then I'll give a point to Cold War. I'm going to be doing that with 5 matchups. Basically it's going to be a best of 5, and I'm going to decide for myself whether the Cold War snipers are actually better than the Modern Warfare ones. So yeah, in today's video you're going to see gameplay as well as my decisions on 10 sniper rifles basically, which of them is actually better, and today we will find out which snipers are better. As usual, if you guys are new around here, be sure to like and subscribe for more, and let's get into the gameplay. Alright, first up is a video I've already done. The ZRG 20mm of Black Ops Cold War versus the HDR of Modern Warfare. Now, I can't even remember which one I said was better in the video, but after using these 2 sniper rifles again, I can say without a doubt that I can say with confidence which one I actually do think is better for sure. Despite the fact that the HDR has slightly slower damage, making the ZRG the highest damage sniper in the game, and a way slower fire rate, the HDR does have that little bit more range and control, and that's what I like more about the HDR compared to the ZRG. They're both basically the same in terms of damage and damage range. Like the statistics in terms of which one has a higher damage range or overall damage doesn't really mean anything. They're both strong enough to get that one shot kill on people that have 1 or maybe 2 plates. But in terms of which gun I actually think is better, due to the fact that the HDR is so much more comfortable to use because of its aiming stability and idle sway. So for this matchup, I'm going to give this to the HDR. Next up, we have probably the most horrendous matchup you're going to see on this list. And that is the M82 of Black Ops Cold War versus the Rytec AMR of Modern Warfare. Now you're probably wondering, why didn't I do the Dragunov of Modern Warfare? It's because both the Rytec and the M82 are Treyarch's and Infinity Ward's latest variations of the Barrett 50 cal sniper. Yes, the Rytec is the Modern Warfare version of the Barrett, despite how awful it is. That's basically what this gun was modeled after. I think it's pretty obvious which one's better. Like, we've seen the Rytec in Warzone for longer. We know which one is better. It's the M82. Now, despite the fact that the Rytec has a higher damage range and higher control, I don't like this gun at all. I just don't like it. Like, I tried my hardest to do well with the Rytec, although I did get a few kills in quick succession. The way the M82 feels on Warzone, it just feels that much better to me that I like using it more than the Rytec, despite the fact that I'd rather not use any of these guns. So even though statistically the Rytec may be better, the attachments is just what the attachments I use on the M82 is just what makes it feel better for me. And I feel like more people use the M82 anyway nowadays. So yeah, this round is going to go to Black Ops Cold War, with me thinking that the M82 is better than the Rytec AMR. Next up, we have the Pellington 703 versus the SPR 208. And you want to know something ironic about these 2 guns as well? Is that as far as I'm aware, these 2 guns are Treyarch and Infinity Ward's latest variation of the R700 from COD 4. Now I might be wrong on the Pellington, it might just be a sniper Treyarch have made for Cold War, but the way this gun looks, it does look like an R700. It might be, I might have got it wrong, they might have modelled it after an M40 from COD 4, but it looks like an R700. As for how these 2 guns perform, both these guns are basically the little sisters to the Kar 98 and the Swiss K31. The Pellington doesn't perform as well as the Swiss, and the SPR just doesn't perform as well as the Kar 98K. The thing that comes down to how useful a sniper rifle is that one-shot headshot. The fact that the vast majority of sniper rifles in Warzone can get a one-shot headshot shows how deadly all the sniper rifles are, but it's mainly about that 2-shot kill. If you don't get the headshot, can you get that second shot if you hit marker them and crack their armor. It's also to do with bullet velocity, but in terms of how these guns perform, like against each other, neither gun is really extremely useful at long range. When it comes to long ranges though, I feel like the SPR kind of outperforms the Pellington. Like when I use the Pellington on this game, I can't get long range kills. Like the bullet velocity drop off on the Pellington is horrendous. Like if you try using that thing at long range, it's absolutely awful. Like these guns can't compete against the HDR and the ZRG, but it's about which one is better to use, and it's all about that bullet velocity and aiming stability. And for that, I feel like the SPR outperforms the Pellington at range. As much as people like using the Pellington, I would still use the SPR over that gun. So yeah, I'm going to give this round to Modern Warfare, because I think that the SPR is better than the Pellington. Okay, now we're on to the fourth matchup. This is going to be the second to last one. The LW3 Tundra versus the AX50. Now you're probably wondering, why are you doing the Tundra versus the AX50? Why aren't you doing the Tundra versus the car? The thing is about these two guns is that if you look at their statistics, their damage, accuracy and fire rate are both the exact same, believe it or not. And if you look at all the statistics, the Tundra has a tiny bit less control, a tiny bit less mobility, but it has that bit more damage range compared to the AX50. Both these guns have very powerful attachments, but the thing about the AX50's attachments is that it doesn't even come close to improving the gun as much as the Tundra's does. But yeah, I'm just going to say this now, due to the fact that the HDR is more powerful than the AX50, rendering it kind of useless, and the fact that there's so many other sniper rifles that have higher fire rates, and the fact that the Tundra has a higher bullet velocity, higher damage range, and the fact that it has the same damage and fire rate pretty much. It's the range and the bullet velocity from the Tundra that gives it the upper hand, as well as how amazing the bullet velocity and the damage range increases from the Tundra's attachment. I think that the LW3 Tundra is better than the AX50. Okay, so for the final matchup, we have the rematch. I've already done this video before. The Kar 98K versus the Swiss K31. Now this is a very hard decision to make. I've used both guns again in today's video and I don't really know what to say. I'm tempted to just cheese this whole video and call this round a draw. Do we really have to do that? No, of course we don't. The truth is nowadays is that these two guns are the only ones that really mattered. If you're looking for variety, then the whole point of this video was to show you variety, so you could use guns other than the Kar and the Swiss. Like use the HDR, use the M82, use the Tundra, use the SPR again. But this is a very hard decision to make because after using both these guns again, they are quite even. They are both very good guns. The Swiss has a higher accuracy, range, mobility and control than the Kar. The range and accuracy being the only ones that are significant, but the Swiss does have a lower damage and fire rate than the Kar 98K. And because these guns are good at close range as well as long range, you do want to use these ADS speed increasing attachments. And something you've got to point out about this matchup is the fact that the Swiss can have a higher magazine and the Kar has to reload each bullet one at a time. But in terms of the attachments that actually increase the stats on these guns, after deciding that the Kar was better than the Swiss has kind of grown on me a bit. You know, after finally ranking up this gun properly because I couldn't use it in Cold War, I realised how good this gun is in Warzone. But the Kar 98K is just, it's so good of a sniper that I can't just call it second best that easy. It's a hard decision because despite the fact that people like using the Kar still and other people prefer using the Swiss now, like a lot of snipers prefer using the Swiss now, it's a very tough decision to make. I've got no clue. Oh, this is hard. I'm gonna say that in my honest opinion, with this matchup deciding which snipers are better in Warzone, and this decision deciding which is the best sniper in Warzone, because these are the two best snipers in Warzone right now, I'm going to say that the Swiss is better than the car, but only by the tiniest amount. Like I said, these guns are too good to just be called better than the other. They are not better than each other by a long shot. These sniper rifles are so good that you could still call them even, but I have to decide which one I prefer. And I feel like it's fitting for the Cold War snipers to actually be better than the Modern Warfare snipers, seeing as though we've pretty much had a full year of the Modern Warfare snipers dominating this game. So with that being said, guys, the score is 3-2, best of 5. To be honest, I think that the Cold War snipers are starting to take over. Like the Swiss K31 that can rival the Kar 98K. I mean, what more could you ask for? Hopefully there's another new DLC sniper for Cold War and Warzone coming. But yeah, that is it for today's video. Let me know if you agree with any of these decisions. Let me know what your opinion is on what the best sniper is in Warzone, and let me know what you think of the sniper rifles in Warzone, and whether or not you think the Cold War snipers are better than the Modern Warfare snipers now. And yeah guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe for more. I will see you in the next video on Season 5 of Warzone and Black Ops Cold War.